Hey there gals and guys, Vetemor here, back at it again with another video. And in today's video, I'm going to be talking about whether or not I think the main game is going to be delayed or on time. Now there's definitely been a lot of fear, uncertainty and doubt when it comes to the timeline of Illuvium, especially with the delays of the land sale and of the staking version 2 and the whole SILV thing that took place. Now, I'm going to lay out my reasoning behind why I don't think that the main game is going to be delayed. So, first of all, why is the land sale delayed? The only reason that the land sale has been delayed at this point, because actually the land sale is actually completely ready and up to taking place. Like, it could take place right now if they really wanted to. The only reason that's been delayed is because of the SILV hack. Because the SILV hack took place, the SILV that's currently in circulation can no longer be used, so suddenly the land sale cannot take place until staking version 2 happens first. So staking version 2 needs to happen before the land sale can happen so that people have access to their SILV again and are able to participate in the land sale using the SILV. And the reason why staking version 2 was delayed is because they actually had to update and upgrade these contracts to now include the SILV corrections and to make sure that they can give us the new version of SILV, which is a change in what they were going to do originally. Now, the reason why I don't think this has any bearing on the main game release is because the teams that are working on making the main game happen are completely different teams from the ones that have been working on the staking version 2 upgrades. So the progress happening on the main game, that's still been happening. There's actually been no delays on the main game, and as everybody has seen, the private beta will be starting very shortly, and as they begin that, they will have 500 people who will be testing it so that the biggest corrections can take place. And as that begins, slowly over time, they will ramp it up and increase the number of people that will be participating in the private beta. They'll then also include the overworld in that. And then once the overworld and the gameplay and everything has been tested, it will be ready to release as a public beta launch. Now, for us to still have a launch before March the 31st, from right now, we have around about 60 days, about 2 months. So can this be done in 2 months? That's really the big question. Now, since it's been announced only recently that the private beta is happening and applications have been opened, I'm guessing that within a week or so, the private beta is probably going to get started. And then once it starts, it's probably going to be, I don't know, 2 weeks of testing. So that takes us to like 3 weeks, and then maybe expanding out into the open world. I think it will definitely be somewhat tight to get that March launch, but I do also feel that it is much more feasible than many people feel because of how many delays it appears have taken place. It feels like, well, obviously the main game's going to be delayed as well. But from my perspective, it kind of looks like one real delay happened or one real issue with the SILV, and everything else sort of had a knock-on domino effect. But the minute that the SILV situation is resolved, which in my opinion will be resolved within 3 weeks, like fully resolved, I'm hoping staking version 2 should be active by that point. Then in about 5 weeks, maybe we see a land sale, and then we see an Illuvitar sale like shortly after, and then hopefully we see the main launch of the open public beta. The entire point of this video is to sort of show my logic as for why I don't think that the public beta is actually going to be delayed, and if it is delayed, I don't think it would be delayed by more than a month. So I don't think that we're seeing a launch later than the end of April. I don't see that. Of course, with the March unlocking of tokens, that takes place, I believe, on the 31st of March. We obviously would like to see the game launch before that. We obviously will at least have the Illuvitar sale and the land sale take place before the unlocking, which is definitely good news, so that we can at least see revenue distribution in action and potentially be giving people a reason to not sell their tokens as much, which would decrease the sell pressure coming from unlocked tokens. But regardless, we can't expect people that have put in at seed and pre-seed to not sell at all, simply because at that point they've got 500x if they're in pre-seed, or around about 150ish or so x if they're in seed. And taking profits, I don't actually even blame them. The question as well comes forward: will they be able to do the fundraising that they were planning to do, and potentially be able to use some of the fundraising funds for the mobile game to also be OTC, over the counter buying straight away from the people that have their tokens unlocked? This is something that Kieran mentioned in his interview with me, and the question is, will they be able to do that? Do they have the time to make this raise happen? And will they be able to make this raise effectively enough with the decreased token price? And I think that is, at the moment, an open-ended question. And I do hope to see an answer to that soon, because at the moment, this is really the only real concern when it comes to Illuvium. And I don't really think that it is a long-term concern of any kind. It just potentially, in the short term, could mean a decreased token price. If the unlock takes place, there's not been a raise and they can't over the counter be buying from the seed round investors, so they'll be selling directly onto the market. Now, I do think even if they cannot manage to pull off this fundraise, or at least be able to pull it off before the end of March, I think another solution could potentially be if they create an avenue for OTC purchases of Illuvium, so that the people that have their tokens unlocked, that invested in the seed and pre-seed, they then to be able to sell those tokens not directly into the market, but be given an extra option where they can, in a sort of back deal kind of way, sell it to any investor that wants to buy it over the counter, and do a direct deal that does not directly influence the market price. If they can set up some kind of an OTC situation over there, I think even without the fundraise, this would help in a huge way and stop the token price from plummeting. I don't think it's going to plummet insanely regardless, because, if the token price drops too low, even people with unlocked tokens would kind of stop selling, because they'd be like, well, actually, I don't want to sell at this price, So I do hope that if a fundraise cannot be done before March the 31st, that they do manage to create some kind of an OTC platform or marketplace where these unlocked tokens can be sold without directly influencing the market price. I think that will be a great thing to see. But that being said, I do believe that by the end of February we will see the land sale take place, and that maybe in mid-March we will be seeing the Illuvitar sale take place as well. These two sales will actually do huge things for the Illuvium price as well. They're going to bring a lot of new people into the Illuvium ecosystem and a lot more eyes onto this project before the open beta is released. And we will be one of the very few, if not only, projects that will be selling some kind of a land that will literally be usable immediately, if not within like a month's time. Not people just like buying something and then they've got to hold these NFTs for like a year of development or whatever. No, everything's going to be ready. People on the land sale, buying from the land sale, they can immediately play the land game, and as soon as the open beta is launched, they will be able to make money from playing the land game. And that's only within a month of them buying that land from the land sale. The Illuvitars, upon release of the open beta, will immediately be usable in the game as your avatar, and all of these things put together, taking place quickly in succession, I am certain will generate a solid amount of hype. But all of these things are solidly short term. February and March, there's gonna definitely be a lot more happening, a lot more excitement in Illuvium. But the real excitement and the real things taking place will be happening over the course of the rest of the year, as the open beta is released, as people start playing the game, as different people start streaming the game and we get huge Twitch people into the game, as all of our marketing really unfolds and adoption begins to spread, not only throughout the crypto gaming space, but also spreading and reaching into mainstream. Token price also is only of short-term concern. In the long term, as long as there is people playing this game and enjoying this game, the token price is forced to follow that through the fact of revenue distribution. That is a beautiful, beautiful system that has been established. So in the long term, token price can only really go up as long as people are playing this game, and the way that the in-game economy is being constructed makes this not some giant pyramid scheme that means that people that got in on day one and people that get in a year from now, like, there's just no comparison. There will be. You will be able to start playing the game in a year from now and not feel that you need to now invest like $1 million to get something that on day one costs $10. You can get in for pretty much the same price you got in on day one. You may not be able to buy the OG first generation alluvials. You will be able to buy them, but they'll be more expensive due to their rarity and, being earlier generations. But you can go out, pay the travel cost, cure some shards, and you can catch the current alluvials on display that are out there to be caught. And those alluvials, they'll be just as effective when it comes to playing the game. So the enjoyability and the economy within this game will actually be something that is sustainable long term. And that ultimately will mean consistently increasing token price. And as we have future games being released as well, then we will have a diverse ecosystem being created. More than an ecosystem, it will really be its own universe. As some of the Illuvium founders have said, they're not trying to create a metaverse here. They are creating the Illuvium universe, which is part of the entire metaverse. So, 5-10 years from now, there could be interoperability between different games, not only being able to use your Illuvium characters and alluvials within other games in the Illuvium universe, potentially being able to branch and connect into different games in the metaverse. So the long-term vision I am most excited about more than anything else. In the short term, I'm just going to be enjoying this roller coaster with all of you. And if you have any thoughts or questions about anything that I've said today, definitely let's start a conversation in the comment section. 100%. If you've enjoyed this video, smash that like button. And if you're new to this channel, definitely be hitting on that subscribe button. Thanks for watching, guys. I'm Vetemor, you're the future, and I'll see you there.